KM.
K4YBC.
N4LQ.
Well, everybody just sitting there, I see. Well, good morning, Chad, and Cliff, and Cuz, and Steve.
Pretty low voltage.
It's the colder days, it'll be tomorrow, but how's everyone doing this morning? Go ahead, Chad. Pick it up, get it to Cliff, Cuz, Steve. So, and anybody else comes in, will go below that. Go ahead, Chad. K4RCL, K4S, that's why.
KM4RCL, Billy, yeah. That's up, and you got the one temperature. You're 10 degrees warmer than what I am. I got low 91 degrees here in Bassfield. So, I look pretty cool out there this morning. The phone folks said 22. I must be in town somewhere. And that would Dave here, so Danny. So I'm going to send it on around and see what you got in this country, Cliff.
KN4 RCL WB4 NKL. 28 degrees here. I think they were calling it a little bit cooler, but it may be still on its way down. Supposed to get up to 41 after a while. Like, yeah, tomorrow's supposed to be cooler. That's the first, I guess, first freeze we've had here from the year, November the 1st. I don't think they were talking like it might have set a record, but I don't think it quite made the record. The record was back in 52, somewhere way back in history. Everybody's sounding pretty good this morning. Band's still a little crazy. I guess next Sunday the time's going to change back, put everything sort of back the way we were having it. Good morning to Cuz and Steve, everybody. Sound like the old Ocean Hopper was doing pretty good, Steve. I got mine going on the net there last night. I think I sent you a little video. I had a speaker was across up on the shelf. I didn't mind what it didn't pick up the volume on the little video too good. I was copying most of the guys on the net, but the sideband was interfering with the weaker ones. Go ahead, Cuz, K4, YBC, WB4, NKL.
WA4LLR, I think. You're back up, but it did. Okay, real fine, Cliff. WB4NKL, K4. And that's probably the coldest morning we had. Sitting dead on freezing, I guess. Not much else going on here, and I'm not quite sure. I heard Dave come in there. So, anyway, go ahead. This is K4YBC. Steve and Dave.
Yeah, I got a feedback problem here. It's N4LQ. I'm trying to use the Ocean Hopper to live stream this thing. Talk about a fiasco, but I don't have any muting set up, and the regeneration control is all the way down, and miraculously I can still hear myself, so probably got a little bit of an echo in the room. But you all sound good on the Ocean Hopper, except for a little QRM on the side. I'm running barefoot AF68. So Dave, go ahead and take it. Then it goes back to Billy. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
and it's got great big icicles on it, so it's hard for you to treat head. But it is the first of November, so what can you say? There's not a lot going on today. I got fish there again. WK4R, WA4LL. WK4R. Well, I don't know, it was about 33, 34 a while ago, so it's not frozen yet. That'll be in the morning. Well, I know it was 9 days for last birthday, and I get taken to the doctor for GI, Forge, I think Forge GI this morning. Almost just thrilled about that. Fall down in it, and you disappear. Animals so big and shiny there, and polished out. See what I can tear up. Like that a bit. WK4. Keep it we got 25 degrees on here, but the sun's come up, so I'm climbing again. Time for this kind of stuff without going to credit. Don't know what I'm going to do today. I hope it'll be constructive. I don't know who to give it to. I heard Steve on here and Dave and Rick, and that's all I know. Somebody mentioned Billy. Maybe I'll give it to him. You there, Billy? K4JL. Yes, sir. I'm here. I'm going to see if anybody else wants to join before we start back around. I'm not hearing anybody that's close enough to talk to anyway. Well, today is paperwork day. I dread that. Should have got up and done it before. But I figured I'd just hold pat and do it a little later on. So. Anyway, not a whole lot other than trying to stay warm. I tell you, I've been I changed my modem of walking. I always sweat. I started wearing a hoodie to be able to keep my walks in, and that just makes the sweat that much worse. At least maybe I won't stay sick with pneumonia all winter long. Because I've got to keep walking up one way or the other, as the old song said. Maybe I'll get on a subject that's worth talking about here directly. KN4RCL to pick it up. In the group, KL4SSY.
Actually, everybody's sounding really good this morning.
Oh my, just want to go along the lines of Cliff's ideas. Play inside so you don't suck any of the cold alien, but still get you inside. I got a total of, I believe 8 in here so far. One less than yesterday. So, I'll send it on around and see if anybody else shows up. Go ahead, W4NKL, KN4RCL.
KN4RCL, WB4NKL. Good morning to Dave. Nice copying you fine here, Dave. I don't know. Good signal. And Rick and Jimmy. Band's, like I say, band's a little long. Hear a lot of stuff in the background. Steve, I was wondering what kind of antenna you're running on your ocean hopper and how you got it coupled. That seemed to be the most critical thing. When I was trying to tune in 3885, I had it on using it as a long wire, 40-meter dipole. But it was real sensitive about the antenna trimmer. If you moved it far, you couldn't get it to regenerate. It's easy to overcouple it, I guess. There's some kind of little something to isolate the antenna from the receiver. It would help a whole bunch. But it's possible to use. I read them. I got to take the Honda for service there. Got an appointment. I think it's 1:15. So I'm gonna try to walk this morning in the 30s. I guess it'll be up in the 30s by the time I get around to it. So not really looking forward to that this morning, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Go ahead, KSK4 YBC WB4 NKL.
WB4 NKL. K4 YBC. Okay. Yeah, Jamie and I might. We belong to a health club here in Lenore, and it's called a Quest, and we have indoor walking and exercise and all that good stuff. So we can take it indoors. Which is nice. Most of the time, sometimes it's about on hot, and the winter time it's cold. Anyway, good morning, Rick. I built a little space spanner when I was just a teenager. I think it's basically the same thing as the ocean hopper. Anyway, I remember when I saved, got enough money to get it. I think it seems like it might have been $15 or something back from Allied Radio. Seems like. But I used it on CW, and I made a lot of contacts with the little fella. That's how I got started in radio, with a little space scanner and a little homebrewed cigar box transmitter. So it worked out real good. Anyway, over to you, Steve. N4LQ, K4YBC.
All right, K4 YBC N4LQ. Well, this isn't easy to use. I don't have any muting system, and antenna is just the main antenna. I've got the SDR and the ocean hopper in parallel, and both of them can easily overcome the 3 dB loss, so that's not a problem. I'm just surprised that it doesn't totally blank out when I transmit. But actually, some of you sound pretty good. Cliff is full quieting and just sounds real nice coming through it. So you can go back and look at the video later on. I'm trying to capture it here, but Dave was really weak. LLR, I don't know what the deal is. And even Cuz, you're not real strong like you usually are. So I guess the band is a bit on the long side. Anyway, I've got to have the AC cord plugged in the right way, and get it turned the wrong way, and I get nothing but a loud hum. So that's the way they are. Needs an isolation transformer. Make it safer and less hummy, I think. Anyway, it is 36 degrees here in Shelby. So, Dave, if you can copy me, go ahead and take it. WA4LLR N4LQ.
Well, what we think is
running about
whenever Cat gets great, it's always anyway, folks, sit over here this morning.
Yeah, I looked at that video that you posted yesterday or last night of that ocean hopper, and man, that thing sounded great. I had one of those years ago and sold it and wish I'd kept it.
I'll get you 25 over, stuff like that. When you first came back, it's like 30.
They span back, which was
up there, so I can tell it's, the amp is really going over that.
Didn't use plug-in coils. And I remember my mom had a fit that I paid.
The video down there, Jay.
$25 for that kit. She was thinking about how much money that was.
Oh, yeah, you're at the property, you're 20.
And that's what got me into this.
Yeah, that's what's not here, too. So, all good? The sleep is pulling off the street now pretty fast. But the car is still beautiful.
Well, I had a lot of fun listening to shortwave stations, my goodness. Radio Moscow, Havana, Cuba, Kingston, Jamaica, Hilversum, Holland, Quito, Ecuador, on and on and on. I used to keep I kept a log of every different shortwave station I picked up on that thing. And I carried it with me wherever I went. If I was at home, I had it. If I went to my grandparents' house, I carried that thing in a roll of wire that I threw up in a tree. Good old days. Simpler times. A lot of those stations that I remember listening to are no longer on the air. They may be on the internet. They're not broadcasting on shortwave. But those were fun days. Anyway, let's see here. Down to you, Rick. WK4R, WA4LR.
WK4R. Well, Billy, I have to sympathize on paperwork day. It seemed like when I was working every day was paperwork day. But anyway, got to convince my legs to let me walk more. I guess I have to try it more. We were up in Virginia. They did okay. Sure got that night they went okay, which told me I needed to do just a little bit more, probably a lot more. And Cliff, I don't know whether to thank you or not for reminding me that I need to change oil in the vehicle. The only problem is I think I got 4 of them and they all due at the same time for some reason. Never had that happen. So they'll just have to wait their turn, I guess. A couple of them don't get driven quite as much, but anyway. Now, Steve, I saw the picture of the Ocean Hopper also on YouTube, and I was noticing, of all things, I noticed a knob on the front. They look good, but is that knob a brass knob, brass plated, or something entirely different? I just really like the knob on the front of it. It looked good. K4, Jay, or WK4.
WK4. Well, you guys that have those snow machines in the house, I pity you. I've got an elliptical down there, and me and Perry Mason get together quite often. I'm studying. I'm an apprentice lawyer watching Perry Mason and trying to stay in shape for that thing. Yeah, I sort of miss the international propaganda stations that every country had, and they were all in English, so you got a perspective on what kind of lie everybody was trying to tell back in those days. And they're still out there, but they went over to the internet about 20 years ago, I think. I think some of them still broadcast, but can't say for sure. KO4SSY, K4JAL. Over you, Billy.
Yeah, mighty fine, Miss Jimmy.
Yeah,
I didn't get to do all that sort of stuff when I was young. Mom and Dad didn't have much of anything because they had all of us knot-headed kids. But the one thing I did, I remember Dad had an old, sometime he drove a truck for a sawmill company over there. And he had at one time he had one of those CB radios, you know, that's in the box with the Go kit. You could take from one truck to the other or whatnot. And I remember getting out on that thing, getting in that truck and listening to people from New York and everywhere else. And as a child, but never did really get into radio much until I was on up. Got into hunting, and we used them to them boys around home. I not so much them boys around home like to run them dogs. And they used them radios to try to keep them cut off. And I got into it from that, and then I became a truck driver, and that was where my radio really started in the CB world. Talked all over the United States, and shoot, I don't know, France, and one old guy, he was always out on one of them islands out there, just about everywhere, Australia, Hawaii. That's kind of where it all started. I seen him. I meant to say something about that yesterday. I sent you some pictures of like 3 of those things up there from an antique store 2 or 3 years ago. It seems like. Anyway, they all look pretty nice, you know, as far as the way they look. Stuff I don't even know if it's I don't reckon. I'd have to get clear for somebody to fix it anyway, probably. But anyway, back over to you, Shabbat. KM4RCL killed for us. That's why.
KM4RCL in the group this morning. I made a comment. I think one of my cops and had a picture of him drinking coffee on his new deck out there in the Red Hill. And I made a comment on there. He needs to get a radio from Cliff. I don't think Cliff would burn him up too much. And he's drinking coffee. I said, you need to meet up here on 3885 with us and talk good morning a little bit and enjoy your coffee with us. That's what we all do pretty much. And we sit around, drink coffee, and talk about radios and trains. So two subjects I know he would be interested in. So, Cliff, if he gets a video from you, I want a commission now. I thought like Terry. How's Terry doing, by the way? Where's our Terry report? I missed the old budget. I'm sure everybody else does too. And Cliff, yeah, I got my oil changes done for the year. I do my oil changes usually in the spring. I do my oil changes outside, so I mostly do them in the springtime. I guess I can do them inside for me.
You know, so why did you bring the
KN4RCL, WB4NKL. I usually do my own oil changes too. I do in my old vehicles, Chad. But this new Honda's they got free oil changes for so long. So I'm gonna take advantage of it. Let them handle it, especially this time of year. And Terry, he's hoping to get out. Was hoping to get out today, I think. He is still in Holston Valley over in Kingsport. I don't know. I got some reports. He was in a med center from somebody, but I was asking him last night. That's where he started out, and that's where he's still at. It's over at Holston Valley in Kingsport. So I hope they can get him to where he can get back on the radio. Ocean hoppers are a challenge. I wouldn't recommend operating one as a main radio. It's got 3 controllers and they all interact. It's a challenge where you can pick something up on a space banner because I think I've had one of them too. It's about plug-in coils, but it's the same deal. I'd say that was a pretty good challenge back in the day to make contact for that in a homebrew transmitter. I was looking back through my cards from my novice days a while back. Running the region receivers. A lot of homebrew transmitters back at that time, and there was a few. Like I say, I've seen a couple running ocean hoppers, so it can be done. But a lot more of a challenge than what we've got today with the modern rigs. Go ahead, cuz. K4YBC, WB4NKF.
WB4NKL, K4YBC. Let me come down the band just a little bit, guys. Boy, that control on this thing is touchy. Okay, real fine. Yeah, I had a good time with the little space banner, and you didn't hear too many of them on the air, but I did work a few stations. Their station wasn't no better than mine. I remember the little transmitter was built in a cigar box, and then the power supply, it was in a separate cigar box. And oh well, plug-in coil and all that good stuff. And Dave, I wonder if you remember, I used to listen at night, and there was a station, HER5 in Bern, Switzerland, and they had a shortwave listeners program where you could write in, tell them what, how good you copied them and what kind of a receiver you was using and all that stuff. So I used to listen to that thing. Seemed like it was on Thursday nights. They had the mailbag, they called it, shortwave listeners mailbag or something. And it was HER5 in Bern, Switzerland. So I'm sure they had a big signal, so I'm sure you picked that up too. Anyway, it's fun to reminisce of the old days for sure. N4LQ to take it, K4YBC.
K4YBC and 4LQ. Yeah, real good. I copied most of you pretty good, especially Cliff and Billy sounded good. And for a while there, Chad was just blasting in here. But there's this sidebander up about 10 KC. It's giving me fits. He's real strong, and he's quacking over into our the Night Kids Pass band, which is rather broad to say the least. But for the most part, it's pretty usable. And I think in another half hour or so, it's going to really clear up. Rick, to answer your question, I guess you're talking about the main tuning knob being brass, but it's just plastic and it's yellowed around the outside there, so it's kind of showing up like yellow or gold or brass or something. But it needs an AF gain control. I mean, some of you guys, there's no AVC, obviously, so what's strong is loud and what's weak is hard to hear. I guess that's the way it ought to be, but I can't turn some of you down far enough. And the YBC is real loud here or there for a while. Yeah, I've got 2 of these, and the one just came in yesterday. I ordered it off eBay, and I got a pretty good deal on it. Came with a cabinet and all that. I think I told you about that. And so I fired it up first, and it was actually working. I did changed out the filter caps, and it was playing along pretty good here, sitting on the desk. And then I heard a snap, like an arc, real loud, and I thought, uh-oh, so I turned it over on its side, and I was sitting there watching it, trying to figure out where that came from, and all of a sudden, snap, explosion, kapow, smoke. I mean, it was a horrendous and scary sight. So, of course, I unplugged it real quick, and then when the smoke cleared, I started trying to find what had happened, and nothing was shorted. I didn't see anything wrong. Couldn't find any burnt parts. Nothing. So I plugged it back in, and it was just playing away, and all of a sudden it snapped again, and it just kept snapping every now and then, making a big, arcing sound. And I decided it was probably the audio output transformer arcing inside. So anyway, I got it taken out and looked at it, and it's got a burnt trail on one side of it where the smoke escaped, and so that's what happened. The audio output transformer was arcing over to the case inside, and it made a tremendous noise. And concerning oil change, I used to do it all the time, but these new cars, I don't know. My Hyundai is too hard to get under. My truck is easy to get under, but it's a Nissan, and it's got this big shroud that covers up the drain plug for the oil. You can't get to it, and it's brilliant. I guess it's a shield to keep rocks and stuff from hitting it. So you have to take about half a dozen screws loose and drop that shroud down, and then you can get to the oil drain plug. And then you have to put it all back together again when you're done. So I just take it somewhere else. Anyhow, over to you, Dave. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
N4LQ in the group, WA4LLR. Well, sorry about the audio output transformer. Hope you got another one floating around somewhere. Yeah, those little rigs were something else. Was it Lafayette? Somebody made one called an Explorer Air. And it seemed like, was it Olson? Somebody else had one along those same lines. I've got an SW3 I want to get online and see if I can use it on that. Oh, man. But, I got a text from Brandon. Said that he hopes to come home today, and he said to tell everybody to stuff it. So obviously he's feeling better. I don't know how we make it since we don't have anybody out here to tell us to stuff it. So got to get him back. Yes, Burns Lecture. Yep, I remember them. Most of those shortwave stations had a mailbag program or a DXers program. I remember HCJB had a shortwave listener program that I used to listen to. Radio Canada, I think they're the one I got my first QSL card from. They had one. One that lasted for years. I don't guess it's still going on, but I know it was up until about a couple of years ago. Radio Havana had DXers Unlimited with Arnie Coro, CO2KK. And I had the privilege of being on that program one time when I was in Havana. I visited with Arnie in his house, took him some coax one year. And a box full of crystals. Most of them were not for ham frequencies, but he said his ham radio club down there were desperate for crystals, and they could take them and get them on the frequency, if they weren't too far off with either grinding them or graphiting. So Somewhere I've got a videotape of me and Arnie on his show. Well, actually, Irvina was on with me. That was a lot of fun. I'm sure the State Department figuring whether or not to press charges for me being on the propaganda voice. Anyway, that was fun. I really liked old Arnie. He passed away a year or so ago, but he had DXers Unlimited. In fact, I've got one of his telegraph keys that he gave me. I think it was an old Russian military. Anyhow, let's see here. Yeah, we need to get Terry back. And it's fun to walk down memory lane and think about all those old radios that got us into this mess, and then the stuff we used to listen to. Good memories. Okay, 4R.
I think I heard Butch. A little puny, but I heard him. Band's on. Anyway, WK4. Well, I did. Garfield, go away. I texted Terry a bit yesterday. Stuff, it was the first thing I got out of him. So it appeared he was in good spirits. He said he thought the nurses were taking up a collection to get him to go home. So they might be tired of him too. I don't know. When I got a company car, and I retired too. Missed that, but anyway, got used to somebody else working on it and changing oil and everything. So I doubt I've changed oil one time since I retired. Still a chance for everybody's going to go to jail for being in Cuba. And I forgot what the other thing was. Anyway, you're next, but you might want to think you can pull Butch out.
K4JAL, are you there, Butch? Come back if you are.
I think you were better the first time, Bud. Yeah, working. Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and then you give it over to Butch, and Butch can give it to Billy.
Okay, I can't pull Billy in. Butch, I can't understand him, but I can see him. And K4JAL here, in case I didn't say that. Yeah, Terry goes a long way, but he's addicted. I hope the old buzzer gets back in here so he can give us all a fit. All you guys, I admire you for getting on the radio back when you was tough. I wanted to. I got an AR-3, but my antenna was a barbed wire fence that ran about 30 feet from my bedroom. And my success on being a shortwave listener was not much. So we'll give it to you, Butch, and let you try her again. K4 NXX, XK. If you can decipher that, you're good. K4JAL.
K4JAL. Let me see where I am here. Hang on a minute. I believe that's about where it ought to be. I don't know. I'm not going up the lake current. I'll tell you that. Anyway, what if it's doing any better? K4JAL, WB4.
Now, I don't know what happened. Your armchair, Butch. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Good deal. Well, I'm looking to see if everything's But I've listened. I've listened a little bit, and wondering how everybody's doing. K4JAL, WB4XK. Go ahead.
W4, I'm struggling with your call sign W4NXK. Maybe I got it right that time, but I can't see this morning, can't hear either. But good to hear you. I've been in that shop of yours, and it was full of busted colonists at that time, too. So there you go. I'll give it over to Billy, KO4SSY, K4JL.
All righty. Well, yeah, I heard Butch that last time. WB4NXK, KO4SSY. I'm assuming I don't guess if we've ever talked. The old saying is that if you assume something, you ended up being the first three letters of the word. But I'm assuming you're down around Gastonia, I believe. So, anywho, that's who I'm gonna say it is. But like I say, don't know you, but know of you. And yeah, that last time I could hear your VFO wind up before, but that last go around I was able to copy, and it was sounding pretty good. So well, darn, you got off track. I guess I need to message the old buzzard and give him a little dead meat to pick at. That way he'll be happy. Maybe I'll do that after a while, after all the paperwork. That takes me about 3 hours once I get started to get all that stuff printed out and done up and sent out and everything ready for the follow-up of driving all the miles to see everybody. So, oh well, pays the bills. I won't complain. KN4RCL, pick it up, KO4SSY.
Yep, I got a good copy on Butch. It was a lot in there before, but I think he made his corrections and everything, and I got a good copy on him. I really ain't got nothing to say. I'll send it around for one more. I guess I got time for one more. WB4KL. It's just about like that for a year. Get call sign.
WB4 NKL. Let me adjust the frequency here a little bit. Back up. A little chilly. I need to get more winter heaters put under the desk here to keep my feet warm. Put it under the heat kit here, keep it warm. Good morning, Bud. Pretty good here. Wonder what you was running this morning. I'm on the BX100B. You're probably on a 32B or something. Sounds good. Now Stevie's talking about the Nissan. I hadn't changed that much. I've got a 2000 Nissan Xterra that belonged to my dad, and I changed oil in it, and it's got that same deal. You got a belly pan under there you got to take off to get to the filter and everything. That's pretty high, so I can get in there and take those out, and I just take the pan off and change it. I don't drive it that much, so it don't get changed too often. I don't know. I'm about would rather let somebody else do it, but it's 10 or 15 miles to an oil change place. I got there and wait in line. I just about soon do it myself. And Dave, SW3, that's a Cadillac compared to them them ocean hoppers. I've got one of those too. I need to exercise it some. Then I've got one of the old National, the first. I don't know if it's the first or not. No, it wasn't the first, but the FB7 early National Super plug-in coils. I need to fire it up. Anyway, keep cycle through all of them. And there's not a lot on shortwave anymore compared to what we used to have in the old days. It was, it used to be full of interesting stuff to listen to. Not so much anymore. That's one reason I don't really care about collecting the old consumer broadcast radios anymore. The AM and shortwave, there's just not a whole lot to listen to. So I don't, not real interested in radio to sit on the shelf that I can't put to use. Go ahead, cuz. K4 YBC, WB4 NKL.
Okay, real fine. WB4 NKL, K4 YBC. Yeah, there's not a lot to listen to anymore. There used to be a station up in Greenland. I think ships at sea kind of used it as a navigational aid or something. Anyway, I think they went out a long time ago. And seemed like Lafayette Radio made a little shortwave receiver. I can't remember too much about it, but there was a bunch of them little rigs back in the day. Good morning to you, Butch. Good to hear you, my friend. It's been a while. And you got a great signal over here in Manoa, sounding really good. Well, gentlemen, I'm going to get out of here. Say 7-3 to everybody. Everybody have a great day, and we'll look for you tomorrow. Stay warm. N4LQ to take it. K4YBC clear, but I'll be listening here. Go ahead. Over.
K4YBC, N4LQ. Yeah, good to hear Butch. WB4 NXK in the group. N4LQ, I'm Steve and Shelby, and I've been to your house. One time, I believe, you were working on some Collins gear, and Brian and I met up over there I think I brought home a treasure of some sort from your place. I think it was a Drake R4A or something like that, R4B maybe, receiver. Anyway, that's been a long time ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago at least, but had a good time. Well, this thing has lost a little bit of its sensitivity for some reason, or the band suddenly changed or something, but I was able to pull Butch out on the second round. Came in pretty good. First round, I didn't hear anything. I don't know what the deal was, but caught me pretty good there on that second attempt. And yeah, there's not much to listen to on shortwave anymore. It's fun to listen on this little receiver. CW sounds really good on it. And I kind of wish I had one of these when I was a kid. I had a Zenith floor model radio. I took the chassis out of the cabinet, put it on my desk, and I could actually make the IF regenerate or oscillate good enough to decode CW. And that's how I learned CW. Anyway, Butch, if you're copying me, I'm running a Elmac AF68 barefoot at about 26 watts right now. And the D104 mic and the horizontal loop antenna. So, I'll turn it over to Dave. Hope you're copying okay. WA4L-LR N4LQ.
Yeah, I'm copying you fine. Looks like I've drifted down about a KC. Should have turned this ART13 on a little earlier. N4LQ, WA4LLR. I may need to tweak that before I get out of somebody's pass band. 7-3 Dave. Hope you have a good day. Yeah, I was just looking here. Did any of you ever have one of those Lafayette Explorer Air? I think it was a KT-135 or something. I remember looking at those when I was a kid. I thought they were a cool looking radio. But it looks a lot like, no, it's got one tube more than the Span Master, but other than that, it looks a lot like it. I know the Span Master used a selenium rectifier for the in the power supply. This one may have used a tube. That might have been the difference. But cool looking little rig. Yeah, it's nothing. That shortwave band's nothing like it was. And I'm like you, Cliff. There's just not much to listen to on broadcast radio. I mean, you got your option of talk radio or most of the music I don't care to listen to that's out there today. Once in a while you'll run across a golden oldies station, which is fair, but I miss the days of the Shadow, the Lone Ranger, Amos and Andy, and so on and so forth. Lord have mercy, I'm telling how old I am. WK4R, WA4LLR.
WK4R. Well, I remember when I think I was about 14 maybe, my dad brought home a transistor radio. After they come out, I think I was rather amazed by the size of it, I guess, but limited in bands, and don't remember what it covered, but I remember you didn't hear a lot of audio, not a lot of voices, but hearing something similar to digital. That's what my brain tells me. It's what it sounded like in hindsight. So I guess they were using digital back then too. But anyway, there were no hams in my small town that I knew of. But a few years after that, I saw a house that had a bunch of antennas. I knew what they were. And he had his own little brick building out behind the house for his ham shack. And it wasn't very big. Probably not as big as the room I have now, but anyway, that's where he had all his stuff. And I used to beg my mother to stop at his house and let me talk to him. And of course, she never did. But anyway, it's time for me to get out. I gotta try and get ready to take Cheryl to the doctor after a while and all that stuff and make her birthday. So everybody have a good day. And if all goes well, I'll be here tomorrow too, or should. I'll say 73. K4JAL, K4 listening.
K4JAL. Well, say happy birthday to Cheryl for me, and I hope she has a good procedure and a happy birthday. Dave, I remember I loved the Green Hornet when I was about 5, and that's in the 40s. It was a good program, but the Shadow scared the bejesus out of me. We called it the Squeaking Door because that's the sound when it came on. There you go. So much for that. K4NX. I'll get this right. NXK. That's a mind boggler for me, Butch. Over to you. K4JAL 73 and listening.
Somebody else in there.
Thank you. This is Killer Brother 4 Delta Kilo Whiskey and Rick, WK4 but And it's like the best thing ever, so I just wanted to thank N4LQ personally.
We're on AM.
Yeah, this WB4NKL station. Yeah, we're running AM. I switched over to sideband. Copy you okay, but try to get some AM going.
Okay. Sorry about that. I heard you perfectly on the sideband. So can you hear me now? This is KB4D.
Y'all carry on. I'll be right back. WB4XK.
Okay, new at this, but I just wanted to thank Mr. Steve N4LQ personally for I followed his design for making the InFit half-wave antenna on my well, it's a 49 to 1 and I made the 80 meter half-wave, and it's just perfect. It's just the best thing ever. So I'm gonna clear out of here. Didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah, I know Rick. Rick's a neighbor of mine, pretty much. It could be a K4R. So, all right, carry on. Thank you for the interruption here. KB4DKW north of Lenore. I'm with.
Did you copy him, Steve?
Yeah, I did, but I'm not sure about the call sign. KB4, was it DK Dog King Whiskey?
Or don't know why. QSL, yeah, Kilo Bravo 4 Delta Kilowatt Whiskey.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, KB4DKW. You're welcome. Thank you very much for checking in with us, and join us anytime. And good luck with the antenna there. N4LQ. Where's it go to? I'm lost. Back to Billy?
Back to Butch. Yeah, we kind of lost him in the shuffle there. Go ahead, Butch.
I think he said he had to do something.
Yeah, okay. Alrighty, well then I guess it is back to me. And I probably need to get out of here, get my hide on up front. Well, maybe time for one more. If I'm not here when it comes back down, you'll know why. So, 730 has got out. Good riddance, Rick. Good that you're gone. I don't have to listen to you no more. But, yeah, it's, oh, shoot. Chad's still in there. Go ahead, Chad. K4C, okay, for us, that's why.
I'm going to have to get out and say 73's on this one. Enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. So KM4RCL 73, WB4NKL.
KN4 RCL, WB4NKL. Okay, Chad, I guess I'll jump out too. And as much as I'm dreading it, I'm going to go walk around the Davy Crockett Loop here. Get that out of the way. Put the big jacket on this morning. I guess it's not getting any much warmer. Still holding at 28. So we'll see how the walk goes there today. And hello to KB4DKW. I didn't catch the name. He sounded good there when you got on the AM. But I flipped. Well, I was copying you for. I got a 75 S3 and flipped it over on sideband. I was copying you fine. Good signal. Let's see. I'll go ahead and get out and catch everybody later on today or in the morning. Go ahead, cuz K4YBC, WB4 NKL.
Who signed? Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, me? Huh, okay, N4LQ. All right, I guess that's about all from here. This has been a real blast And I was looking at the Lafayette, what is this thing? The Night Kid Span Master. It's one of the more Art Deco looking receivers. I kind of like the looks of that thing. Never did own one. Anyway, 73s, and I don't know who's left. Billy, you still here? N4LQ.
Yeah, I'm still here too.
Go ahead there, Dave.
All righty. Well, 73 to everybody that's bailing out. Yeah, still got that Span Master. I couldn't hardly turn it loose. That was old number one. Anyway, good morning to you, Dan, down there in Lenore. Glad you jumped in. And Steve, sounds like you got another fan. I think you've got a lot from your work on the NFED and associated accessories. But it sure is good to hear you, buddy. It's been a long time. But I think I am going to bow out on this one as well and go in search of a better breakfast. Butch, don't let work keep you off the radio. Get in here with us. And it's always good to have you on board. So I'm going to say 7-3. God bless and Lord willing, we'll look for you in the morning. Let's see Rick's sign, so it goes to Jim. I believe Jim's still with us. K4JAL, WA4LR. Boys, stay warm.
I believe he run off too, as Sam said, RUN and OFT. Go ahead there, Butch, WB4 NXK, KL4S as well.
Okay. I take the dog out. Lord have mercy. Too cold. It's a little breeze on it. He's kind of sensitive to cold. He goes outside, he does get cold. He comes back in the house. So I had to hand carry him anyway. That's the way it is. Plus, he's got this dysplasia in his two rear feet, so he's got a problem. Anyway, yeah, working on a lot of college, doing a lot of that. And, I've got to get all this stuff going. I just piled up on me. And I got it sitting all over the place. Most of it's mine, though. I've got this bad habit of collecting. And after a while, I need another builder to put the collection in. But that's the way it is. And Dave, if you're not going, tell me about the 390A. If you got just a minute, what's going on with the 390A? Would it work okay when you first got it, or did you have to do a little TLC in it? Dave, LLR, go ahead.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember. I've slept since then. Little lubrication, and it works well. It took a little while to wake up a couple of things, but everything's working all right. The only problem I've got with it is in a couple of positions, you have to tap on those tuning slugs to make them drop. I mean, it's sensitive as it can be and does a good job, but you have to leave the cover off of it because in a couple of places you got to peck on those the racks that hold those slugs to get them to drop down. And we tried lubricating it and other stuff, which not seemed to help. So I don't know, Butch.
Does it have the spring on one end of it to the chassis?
Roger.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I've got some of those racks if you need one, if you want to replace it. But then you have to go through the loop. I don't know. They're not. I enjoy working on those. Those are fun. So I've had them where the smoke comes out of the bottom and you have to pull a polish cloud, rebuild a polish flow. I'll have mercy. One thing after another. But you go ahead and eat your breakfast. We'll talk at you later. And appreciate the info. And I guess Don's worked out okay with him too, but I hadn't heard him. Of course, I don't listen that often, but I didn't hear him on. But anyway, y'all carry on. Let me get out of here. I got things to get started here, and I thought, well, I'll get it here this morning and let everybody know I'm still kicking. But we'll see you later. Take care. And I don't know who's supposed to pick it up. I got lost here somewhere. 7-3's good morning. WB4 XK Gas Stony will be clear.
All righty, Butch. You have a good day down that way. KB4DKW still in there before I sign out? And I guess not. 7-3's off. I'm going to head up front and try to get this darn paperwork done. Dreaded part of the month. 7-3's catch y'all. I don't know if I'll be around in the morning or on the road, but I may just put that off till Monday. Anyways, 7-3.